I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're diving into a high-octane blend of military thrillers, deep-sea suspense, and sci-fi action. The name of the book, Poseidon Project. It's written by a terrific author. His name is Tracy Vetter, and he unleashes a gripping underwater showdown featuring a stealth submarine, Russian terrorists, and a prehistoric megalodon. It is a pulse-pounding page-turner that fans of Tom Clancy, The Meg, and techno thrillers won't want to miss. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. And be sure to download the Spotlight Network TV app streaming on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. Tracy, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you for having me, sir.
It is my pleasure. This is quite a book. It takes readers into the depths of the Pacific Ocean with cutting-edge technology, military drama, and even prehistoric terror. Tell us about where the ideas came from, where the concept came from.
Well, I've always been, in fact, if you look up in the corner, you can see a Godzilla poster. I've always loved the old monster movies. I grew up with that kind of stuff in the 60s. Of course, everything back then with little models and whatnot. And I love that kind of stuff. And in fact, when I wrote this book, my wife read it and she says, of course, that would be something you would write. My original idea for the book, though, was just the submarine and the shark. Even then, though, I'm just like, that's not much of a fight. I had to bring something else into it, something a lot bigger. So I brought in the Russian sub and made it a three-way battle.
Exactly.
So, and that's basically where the idea, I just love that kind of stuff. That's where I like to write a story.
Well, you did a great job in writing this story, no doubt. The USS Specter is more than just a machine. It's almost a character in and of itself. Talk to us about your approach to blending technology with human drama, especially in such an intense underwater setting.
Well, human drama is a great foil to work with because you got two people together. They're either going to start liking each other, start hating each other. There's going to be some human drama involved. Well, stick 19 people in a little submarine. There's going to be a lot of human drama involved because they're just bumping into each other all the time. And then the AI program, that actually came a little later. And I didn't want to go in the direction of iRobot, Demon Seed, Colossus, HAL. I didn't want to make the AI program a bad guy, so I literally went 180, and it's a compassionate program trying to help the people, and in fact learns teamwork. So, and I felt like there was already a lot going on with the sub. It didn't need another problem. So exactly. That's where that came. But I love the AI program when I came up with it. I named it Tinkerbell. I don't know if you knew that or not. I named it Tinkerbell just so it sort of fit its name.
Absolutely, absolutely. The strong female lead you have commanding the world's most advanced submarine. This is quite a message to readers. I think it's thrilling to watch her, read about her in action. Tell us why you chose to have a woman in that position instead of, a young Charlton Heston doing it or something.
Well, I was thinking of a young Tom Selleck myself. That's sort of where Ralph comes in.
Yep.
I had the honor of being in the military. I was in the Army for several years, for 3 years, and never once did I ever run across a lieutenant, a female captain, a female major that did not deserve to be in that position. They earned it. They got there by doing the hard stuff, by going out into the field and getting messy and dirty along with everybody else. And I just felt like it made things a tiny bit, again, with the human drama, it made things a tiny bit more complicated, but I was not going to leave her in the lurch. I was not going to, have her go away. She was not going to go away silently into the night. She was going to go fighting down all the way. So that's what I wanted to do with her.
Well, I think you succeeded, no doubt. You already talked about Tom Selleck, which would be a great casting choice for
It'd
one
have
of
to be,
the.
the Magnum PI version.
Oh
You
yeah, it'd
know,
have to be a younger one.
yeah.
I mean, it'd be tough to find another Magnum PI Tom Selleck. He was pretty awesome and
Yeah.
incredible. One of the thrills of my life is that I work with Tom Selleck, and he's
Oh, you did it.
absolutely,
Oh, good for
yeah.
you.
I work with him on Blue Bloods, and he's absolutely as cool, kind, funny. What you see is what you get with him. So too bad he
Terrific.
doesn't have a son. He actually might have a son. I'm not sure. But anyway, I digress. Would you have you envisioned this as a movie or a TV series?
The first response I ever got from the book was that would make a great movie.
Yeah.
And somebody else has mentioned a series. I'm not quite sure how that would work out, but I could definitely see a movie. And one of my things, of course, I'm the writer, I envision everything, but I would love to see what a great art department would do with the Specter.
Yeah.
I would love to see that in full size scale or something. I would love to see that. So I think that's one of the things I'm sure Jordan would love to see too was, somebody looking at it and say, yeah, this would make a fun movie to go to.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that's the wonder of movie making, that they take the page, the printed page, and turn it into a visualization. And they do it with such magic nowadays. It looks so real. Like you said, it used to be like little plastic monsters going down the streets of Tokyo. And now it looks like a real monster is going down the streets of Tokyo. So I think
Yes,
Hollywood could
absolutely.
do a
What
great
they what
job.
they do is just amazing.
Yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. What else are you working on? You're working on a sequel, perhaps? Will this be part of a series?
I do have in mind for a sequel. I was asked about that, I think, about a year ago. And I don't think I want to reintroduce another monster, but it is going to be sci-fi. It's not just a submarine out there battling other subs. It's going to be a little different. It's going to be a little different. But I do have a sequel in mind.
Wonderful, wonderful. So it'll pick up from where this book left off, more or less?
I think probably about 2 years in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Tell us what it was like writing this book. How long did it take you? Were you disciplined? Did you write it every morning? How long? And what was the process like?
Well, I don't get into just sitting and watching TV.
Mhm.
Once I got a hold of a laptop, that was easy. That was easy. Just, watch TV, write a page, watch TV, write. I mean, that was pretty easy. And the book, it really flowed.
Yeah.
It really went, okay, as soon as that thing's done, the next thing's happening. And as soon as that's done, the next thing's happening. So the process was fairly easy. My problem was I wrote the book, put it away.
Yeah.
As in a lot of people that have never published a book, okay, now I've got this book. Finally, my wife, you need to do something with this.
Right.
But she read it, and the original version was in the Atlantic Ocean.
Gotcha.
And she said, that sounds a little bit too much like another book that was very well known and made into a movie. And I said, okay, let's go to the Pacific Ocean a little bit deeper, in fact, so I can do some more things in there, make Russians the bad guys. Okay. So it took almost 6 years for this to see print.
Wow. Well, I'm glad it's not sitting in a desk drawer anymore or on a hard drive or wherever it was. I'm glad that it's actually in print. And I think that our viewers, I think readers are actually going to love it. Before we leave you today, you mentioned you had a military background. Tell us a little bit about your work in the military.
I was a crypto repairman, ComSec.com, not .com, but a ComSec repairman. I worked in a basement. We had a vault door. The windows were barred. You went to work at 8 o'clock. You got off at 5, had weekends off. One guy called me, I was one of the smarties. I wasn't infantry or I got a nice cushy job. But yeah, we worked on crypto equipment, which is very funny because I watch these movies and we've broken the code. And I no, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Exactly. You know
I made
better.
fun of these movies. I know better. You know?
That's wonderful. Well, your realism is felt in the pages of this book. Your experience counts and matters in the crafting of this novel. It is terrific, folks. It is called The Poseidon Project. In it, Tracy unleashes a gripping underwater showdown featuring a stealth submarine, Russian terrorists, and a prehistoric megalodon. It is a pulse-pounding page-turner of a book that fans of Tom Clancy, the Meg, and techno thrillers will absolutely love. Tracy, thank you so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
Well, thank you for having me on, sir.
It's been my pleasure, sir. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.
USS Specter cuts through the water, unseen and unmatched. The crew battles a submarine smarter than any human on board. Beneath the waves, the captain fights her past as much as the mission. Russian behemoth Volga moves with deadly intent, armed and ready. Terrorists threaten the world with destruction, holding a nation's weapons hostage. Megalodon awakens, hunting anything that dares move. The ocean trembles as the predator closes in. Machines and monsters clash in the silent depths. The fate of the world lies in the shadows of the Pacific. Who will survive when the ocean itself turns against them? The Poseidon Project, written by Tracy Vetter.